What's up, everybody? So I basically nerded out on compliant Facebook ads this weekend, and I put together this little slideshow because I felt like it was relevant. But this is how to make compliant viral ads. That's the real goal. And if you write even the best copy in the world, but you can't put it on these platforms to run the ads, then it doesn't really matter how good it is. So the real secret is writing compliant ads that can still go viral. This is mostly for Facebook, but it'll work on, all the platforms are getting a little more strict and things like that. So we'll start with the quote. You have freedom of speech until you start to have impact. And that's just basically saying, like, even if you do have some ads that go the distance or start doing really well, once they really get bigger, then Google and Facebook are really going to put it under a microscope, and they might shut it down once it's actually making you some money. So the best rule of thumb is, write copy that's unbreakable, and that kind of goes along with these policies. All right. So what you're going to learn if you watch this video, is why some ads get approved and some ads get shut down. You'll actually learn why. I know it's a big pain in the ass. I know they approve a lot more ads real quick, but sometimes ads just get shut down and you don't know why. So I've had a lot of experience and kind of dug in pretty deep on how it all works. All right, how to not have your accounts get shut down, how to not get slapped by Zuckerberg, all right, how to write ads for very restricted niches like health, finance, crypto, etc. And then also how to create viral copy that is still compliant, and then also the dead simple rules for writing compliant ads. A couple things before we start. I'm not the go-to expert on compliance. I have helped a few tweak their copy though and then make buco bucks. So I just want that to be known. I'm good at writing good copy that's compliant and tweaking copy to make it compliant. So that's really what I am, but I'm not the go-to end-all expert. So get legal review before you launch. And that just is kind of what all the big name clients that I've worked with do. They have a lawyer that basically goes over it before they launch it. So that's always a good plan. And the big picture for all of this is pretty simple. Don't scam people and don't lie in your public advertising. If you don't do that, you'll be all right. We're obviously going to go real deep on this, but that's kind of the whole thing. And then what's the difference between a good hook and a bad hook? Okay, a good hook intrigues the prospect to read more, to learn more about your product, to go further down your funnel. And then a bad hook just outright deceives the prospect. Real simple, write good hooks basically. And it's a good idea to back up your claims. That's also what we're going to go over. And then work harder to make your compliant copy interesting. Do more research, dig a little bit deeper. And just by doing that little bit of more work than other competitors in your industry, your ads will be better and you'll be able to do it. And then also, some accounts just get slapped for no reason. There's sometimes you don't know everything that's going on in the back end of these Facebook accounts. The person that's approving might just be having a bad day. And then sometimes there's accounts that just get away with murder. I've worked with some accounts that are just really old ad accounts, and they have some ads that are just, they're just getting away with some crazy stuff. That won't last very long, like I said in the beginning. But, that's just the way of the game. We're just going to try and make it a little bit more clear as to why some things happen and when some things don't happen. And the best advice I can give you is always try and go towards writing good compliant copy, and overall, inevitably, those are going to get you a lot further than doing a little bit of shenanigans and not so good copy. All right, so these are the two ways that Facebook reviews your ads. These are kind of obvious, right? So the quick overview of the approval process. So obviously, when you put out an ad, it's an automatic algorithm, right? Once your ad is published, they're going to go and they're going to scan your landing pages. They're going to scan the copy. And they're just going to look for gray area keywords like guns, sex, profanity, weight loss, and anything that looks like an income claim. If you use any negative keywords, you'll get notifications right away, and you can adjust and you'll have to resubmit them. And any of these gray area keywords, you have a good chance of you'll just get passed. But if it doesn't get passed, then what happens is it goes on to a manual review. The people that work at Facebook that do these manual reviews are meant to just make real quick decisions, because you got to imagine how many ads they're going through all the time. So in these manual reviews, you'll have a Facebook. You have to make sure that you're going through a Facebook ad compliance. And if you have a media buyer who's good, they'll kind of know how to make this work. The way that I've done it is whenever I have to talk to them, I'm just real nice. It's kind of the insider secret. If your review Doesn't get passed, you just have to tweak the top copy and try again. It might get disapproved later too if they do let it go through, but it's not quite compliant. The manual reviews are a lot harder to appeal if it gets shut down. So it's better just to think about it ahead of time and hopefully try not to go to the manual reviews. If you do go to the manual reviews, like I said, just be nice to the people and try and understand why. They're not going to tell you very much. They're not very good at that. But their job is to make real quick judgment calls. So now we're going to go into the dead simple rules of writing good ad copy. All right, number one, when you're describing the problem or agitating the pain, tell it from the perspective of a client, all right, named or unnamed, or by leveraging your hero story. I used to struggle with, or in general terms, avoid the use of the word you when you were associating anything negative. So a lot of the old direct copy would just really dig into people's pain and they would call people out. You know, it's dog whistle copy. And that just doesn't work. It doesn't fly as well with Facebook, and we'll explain it a little bit later. But basically, they want the users on their Facebook accounts to have an enjoyable experience. So if you're calling people out and you're digging into their pain, that's going to take away from their enjoyable experience. All right, dead simple rule number two, leverage euphemisms or turns of phrase that your target market will understand. This helps you sidestep Facebook's first negative review or gray area keywords. Examples, smiling down, weight woes, get toned and lean. So it's like instead of saying weight loss, you'll say weight woes, and this is kind of a way to get around it. Or I like to use a lot of metaphors relating to nature because everyone can understand that. You know, like if your business needs to be, it feels like it's going against the current or something like that, and you need to be flowing with the stream, then you can use that. And I like to do that a lot with my copy. All right, dead simple rule number three, be careful not to make income claims. Instead, you can present someone as an example or a case study and use the word revenue, but not earnings. It's even better if you can focus on tangible things that will get them an outcome. So tangible, real world things that actually get your clients an outcome instead of just saying you're going to make, $100 million in 10 minutes or whatever. Like that's just going to get shut down real quick. So those are the dead simple rules. So that was the dead simple rules to navigate 90% of the problems with your ad copy. So, we said when you're trying to describe the problem, tell it from a perspective of your client or your hero story. Try not to use the word you and then pain. Leverage euphemisms and be careful with income claims. And what I like to do is when in doubt, just write out the copy how you really want it to sound and then go back to these rules and tweak it. That's kind of the best practice. All right, another tip, and this is just ninja tips. Like if you're running ads for somebody or you're just trying to figure out what's going to get shut down and what's not going to get shut down, create a fake dummy ads account and then submit all your ads there. Like if I was going to do ads for some really intense health issue type of deal, or like a lawyer ad or crypto or finance ad, and I didn't want my main account to get dinged, I would make a fake dummy account and I would submit those ads in the dummy account, and if they get approved, then I would just take that ad off and I would put it onto my regular account. But that's just like if you're getting real ninja with it and trying to learn a little bit more about stuff before you damage your real professional account or something like that, or a client's account. All right, my ads were not approved. Now what? All right, getting your ads disapproved is not the same thing as getting shut down. It's really not that big a deal. And if you're working with an ad person, you won't phase them at all. Often Facebook will display the reason why it wasn't approved. Just tweak the copy and resubmit for appeal. Your ads person will be able to have access to the Facebook ad support if it really is a big pain and it has to escalate the issue to get approved. But usually just rewrite the copy or redo the creative or something and then try again. So a quick note on landing pages, because they're really digging into landing pages now. So Facebook is going to sweep your landing pages for any gray words again, like sex, guns. I don't know about rock and roll, but whatever. They don't really like pop-ups anymore. Google or Facebook are not a big fan. Maintain your message that matches short and concise description. So like if your ad says one thing and then your landing page is totally something different, they're going to shut you down. And then make sure that it's clean and it's user-friendly and it flows. This is a big deal with Google for sure, and Facebook is really kind of getting into it now too. All right, so now we're going to talk about how to create compliant viral ads. So these are ads that are in the boxes for Facebook and things like that can still go viral. So this is why these ads are different. All right, gets more eyeballs and qualified leads because people share these ads. That's the viral part about this. Hyper compliant, even if you know nothing about Facebook, it's still compliant. Usually takes about 15 minutes or less to write. Why these ads work. Prospects are more skeptical than ever. These ads are infused with credibility from the get-go. Right? You get opportunity to present yourself as an expert, and the framework is designed to bypass the compliance issues. All right, big ad compliance mistakes. Focusing too much on emotion and pain instead of the process and the mechanism. That's kind of what we talked about before. Facebook wants people to have a good time on their platform. They don't want to make people feel distraught about their lives when they read ads and things like that. They want to keep it on a level of entertainment. Facebook doesn't like too much pain or emotion. Wants to have a good time on the platform. So if you dig into people's pain too much, it won't work. All right, here's the framework. All right, so first you create a self-identifying pattern interrupt. Then we make sure that you give yourself some credibility, and it's really good just to go deep into that. And then we'll create the viral content part, and then we'll have a value-driven call to action. This is very simple, but this is how you can make a viral compliance ad. So self-identifying pattern interrupt. It's just a few sentences designed to get people to subconsciously raise their hand. One of the biggest struggles in today's world is being stuck in a dead-end job. Keto never worked for me. That kind of calls out directly. So it's still bird whistle copy, but it's not digging into any pain. It's just something that is a pattern interrupt. It's a large statement tweaked in a little bit of a way so that it stops people in their tracks and they'll read more. And then you draw a line in the sand. So you're calling out to your specific customer in a pattern interrupting way. Next is credibility. All right, just write a few sentences about who you are, your credentials, and why people should listen. This is big. This is kind of a big chunk of the copy is just giving yourself credibility. So that there's a lot of people out there making a lot of big claims. So you want to go real deep with this and actually stand out from the rest and be like, I'll teach you how to lose weight in 30 days doing this because I used to struggle with weight loss or with weight gain, and I never found anything that worked until I actually started doing this, and now I've gotten hundreds of results from my clients, blah, 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 blah. Give yourself a lot of credibility, though. Stand out. Don't be vague. And then the viral content part, this is what the big chunk of your copy is going to be. But this is how it is. All right, it's time for you to show off your expertise, okay? And you're just going to do the old Frank Kern thing where you actually show people that you can help them, and crazy enough, that's what's going to get them really interested. And you just want to give them like 10% of the way. That way they get some value from what your ad is. They learn something from you, and they'll remember you a little bit better. So you want to demonstrate your understanding of how to solve your prospect's problem by giving them the first steps. Okay, and this is the bulk of your ad. Again, just give away the first 10% so that they're getting value from you. And then we're going to go a little bit deeper. So this is like some ideas of how to make that viral chunk better. So this is the viral content archetype. Number one, make it a cool tip. Okay, but Facebook hates the words trick, hack, or tip. So use words more like method, way, technique, strategy. An example of this is like one of the coolest things I've learned is, okay, so that's like how you start the viral chunk. And the reason that these really work is because you're giving value and people will share it, are more likely to share it on their Facebook page. And really how to stand out in the marketplace right now is how to create viral ads because the cost of your ad goes down. Another example is 3 steps, 3 steps to get your first client, and then you give them those steps. You teach them exactly how to do it, and then you say a really big call to action after this. And then a belief shift. A belief shift, I believe, is the most powerful thing because, again, it plugs into that pattern interrupt. But a belief shift, if you change the way your prospect thinks about something, they will never forget you. You don't need to do trendy diets to get in shape. It's all about calories in and calories out. That's all that matters. Or one of the best ones that I wrote. Most people are too busy working to ever get rich, and like that's a big belief shift, a big change in the way that they view the world. And if you can make people flip that little switch, they'll remember you because you're the one that made them think about that. It's real profound. But these are like just some. There's a few other ones, but these are the main ones that you can use that'll actually give your ad that chance of being viral because you're giving value. You're teaching a cool trick, you're giving them the first 3 steps, or you're giving them that paradigm shift, and they'll remember you and share it. And then finally, you end with a value-driven call to action, just a few lines. Suggest that if they want more, or if they like what they have, what you've said, to check out your page. Real simple, value-driven call to action. Bada bing, bada boom. Still direct response. It's still very powerful. Totally compliant with all of Facebook and Google's stuff going on. Okay, so here's the things I want you to think about for compliance and conversions. Things to maximize. Proof. Show testimonials. Proof that this is your Stripe account. Proof that your people that sign up with you, that your product does what you say it does. Proof that your product does what it say it does. That's just the big thing. Another thing to maximize, metaphors. Metaphors on your story and then your customers' stories. Those are big. Everybody loves stories, and if you can add some emotion in there without triggering compliance, real stories are real powerful. And then emphasize or maximize how it's made, the process of how it's made, or what it's really going to look like your first couple of days in the program, and what's going to happen in step by step by step. All right, how it's made, and then what it is and what it is not. It's really powerful if you put inside your copy what it is not, because then you're telling people exactly what it's not, so that people aren't getting these crazy ideas of nobody does that in their ads nowadays. They don't tell you what it's not. Whereas if you do that, you're going to stand out more because you're not full of it. You're basically capitalizing on this is what it is, this is what it's not. Make the choice, giving the power to the customer, which is important. Things to minimize are second person promises. I promise you will lose 30 pounds in 30 days. That doesn't work anymore. I wish it did. They're tightening it up though. So that is more just a few tips about compliance and conversions. All right, here's a deeper guide on the guiding principles for all this compliance stuff with Facebook. All right, you need to make claims that win court cases. All right, this is really powerful. This is from Ed Ray, one of my mentors though. And basically he was saying, Facebook has gotten in a lot of trouble for letting people say things on Facebook. And there are some laws, and let's start. This is why Facebook is tightening up. All right, it used to be like the Wild Wild West, and you used to be able to shoot ads from the hip and say whatever you want. Not anymore. Now Facebook will slap you, and they're getting pretty aggressive with it. And this is why. So this is important. So these are the guiding principles on all this compliance stuff for Facebook. All right, you need to make claims that win court cases. Facebook has gotten into a lot of trouble for letting people say things on Facebook, and there are some laws that limit the trouble that Facebook can get into. But they are in hot water and under the spotlight, especially since the whole Russian thing and, just FBI raiding Facebook and all this kind of other crazy stuff. So what Facebook wants is, if Facebook ever got taken to court, all right, for what people are putting on their platforms, Facebook would want to win that court case. All right, I know this is really big. You're never going to, or hopefully you're never going to have to go to court for any of this stuff. But this is the mindset that you need to have. You need to make claims that will win court cases. So make claims that if Facebook had to take it over to court for your advertising on their platform, that they would win. All right, so you're going to be able to fly through compliance as long as you make claims that could win court cases, and that fall also within the ad network policies. There's some ad network policies that you might be in compliance with, but they just goes against their policies. That's just, you'll have to read some of those. They're boring, but you can do it. All right. And then here is the good news though. A lot of your competition's ad accounts are shut down. And if you put a little extra work, you'll be scaling while they won't be able to run ads on Facebook anymore. All right. And your account will be alive and not just closed down, because that's what Facebook loves to do. And it's also really powerful. I like to think about not just scaling your business, but how to make your business unbreakable. Okay, so a way to make your copy unbreakable is to do it within the compliance guidelines. And this is for the long run, and this is also building goodwill in the marketplace, because you're an expert. You're telling people exactly what your product is and what it is not. You're not living in this fantasy world, and you're working a little bit harder to make it more interesting. All right, and you're giving value, and you'll also be staying in the loop of what's really working still on these advertising platforms, because they're growing every day, and if you're not selling to your customer, then somebody else is. So you need to find ways to have as many eyeballs and keep scaling. All right, so I hope that was helpful. Again, that was the framework on how to create viral ads that goes with Facebook and Google's compliance rules. And then it also just gave you a little bit more of an in-depth insight on how it all works and why Google and Facebook are getting so constricted, because There's a lot of things at play. So as long as you play within these rules, you're going to be able to scale. You're going to make tons of money. Your accounts are going to get shut down, and you're going to have a leg up on your competition. And you'll be creating goodwill in the marketplace, and you'll be, flying through those compliance things and making lots of money. So I hope that was helpful. Leave some comments, give it some likes, some shares if you got some value out of this. I'll talk to you in the next one.